though at the time, I didn't properly understand it. This new girl called Simone Richards started at my school. She was very pretty, sweet, and she laughed when she was nervous, which I thought was cute. Being around Simone made me feel happy, but seeing her hang out with other girls made me so jealous that I once got a detention for pushing over this mean girl who wouldn't let Simone play with me. As I grew older, I began to have more crushes. It was then that I realized that I didn't like boys. I liked girls. At 14, I told my mom about it. She just smiled and told me that she already knew. My dad took longer to come around. He was adamant that I was going through a phase. Now, at 18, and still very much a lesbian, he has learned to accept that this is me. So, anyway, everyone knew I was gay, and most people seemed cool about it. I occasionally got the odd, crude comment directed at me at school, but I usually just shrugged and gave a smart and witty reply back. Life was good, and I felt free to finally be myself. At least, that was until I started to develop a massive crush on my mom's best friend. My mom's been friends with Anita for a couple of years. They met at work, and even though my mom doesn't work there anymore, they kept in touch and are still the best of friends. Apparently, Anita used to be married, but her husband left her for another woman, who he now has a little kid with. Oh, and Anita also has a son called Gaz. He's 20 and currently away at college. I've always liked Anita, as she's a warm person, but I never saw her in that way. At least, not until the night of my mom's birthday party. So, every year, my mom always has a birthday party at our house, where she invites a few friends over, serves store-bought canapes, and plays the cheesiest tunes. Oh, also, it's always fancy dress. I secretly love her parties. I plan my outfit weeks in advance. I invited my friend Beth along, who I had the biggest secret crush on. I decided that I was going to tell her how I felt about her that night. The tunes were playing, the drinks were flowing, and there were serving platters with canapes scattered around the house. The party was great, and my Batwoman costume was even greater. I led Beth outside and confessed my feelings to her. It didn't go well. She gave me a super awkward look, and then said that she valued me as a friend, but nothing more. Then she left. I was devastated. I sat there all alone crying into my drink. That's when Anita appeared. "Dawn, what's up?" She sat down next to me. I told her what had happened, and she hugged me and was super nice about it all. She was dressed as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and she looked really pretty. She told me that her son was always asking out the wrong girls and getting in stresses, but we were both still young and would find the right person when the time was right. She laughed out the comment, "Unless you're like me, in which case you'll always be disastrous at relationships." Suddenly, I began to see her in a new light. Over the next month, my feelings for Anita developed. Whenever she was at our house, I would make any excuse I could to stay and talk to her. Yes, I know she's in her 40s and she's my mom's best friend, but I realized that I didn't just have a crush on her. It was more than that. I really loved her. One evening, I was alone in the house watching films when the doorbell sounded. I answered it to find Anita standing there in tears. I invited her in and made her a mug of coffee. Her gran, who lived in England, had been taken to hospital, and they didn't think she was going to make it. We talked for a while, and soon she seemed to cheer up a little. "Thanks, Dawn. You're a great listener." She hugged me. As we pulled apart, she smiled at me, and before I could question my actions, I leaned in and kissed her. After a few seconds, she pulled away and gave me an awkward look. "Dawn, I know, I shouldn't have. Please forget about it." I hurried out of the room. I shut myself away in my bedroom and told myself off. I just kissed my mom's best friend. What on earth was I thinking? Eventually, I went downstairs to get a drink. I didn't expect Anita to still be there as hours had passed, but she was. We gave each other awkward looks, and Then we started talking. I apologized for kissing her, and she said it was okay. Soon we were talking like nothing had happened. There was no denying that we had serious chemistry. Anita said that she was leaving, so I showed her to the door. And that's when she leaned in and kissed me. It was totally magical! After a few minutes, she pulled away and muttered that she shouldn't have done that. She mentioned my mom and how I was a similar age to her son. Then she hurried off. I shouted after her that we could work these things out, but she didn't come back. It's been a few weeks since that happened, and Anita hasn't been around. Her last excuse to Mom was that she wasn't feeling well. I know that she's avoiding me, which sucks. It's an awkward situation, but I love her, and I think she loves me too. I don't know what to do. Do I give Anita time to think about everything, or should I contact her? Is trying to pursue a romance with my mom's best friend the wrong thing to do? I don't want to upset my mom. I just really care about Anita. Please comment with what you think